every now and then we get a little bit of pushback from people who say, well, we don't think the clinical studies are big enough, or maybe that, LifeWave paid for the clinical studies, or because not everybody knows how clinical studies get published, obviously, right? So why don't we address that for a second? Dr. Don, you made a point that you said when you wanted to disprove that this would work, and you started diving into those studies and you found that there were some done, they were peer reviewed, there were different ones. So tell me a little bit about your research there and what you were able to find, and what made that go, wow, this is something that whenever you were like, no, I'm going to prove that it's not. So share
Yeah,
that.
I think it's a valid concern. It's a great question. I love being questioned about things like that because that's what I was doing in the beginning. And of course, we'd like to see studies with, 50, 100, 150 people. They're a little more credible. But just because a study is small does not mean that it's not well done and not significant. Usually we start with a small study, and then when we have a finding, we do a bigger study, and LifeWave has done this and continues to do this as well. But there are a lot of studies that are very adequate in numbers. Of course, there are smaller studies, but they lead us to the bigger studies, and also they have validity in and of themselves. If they're well done studies, that's, even if it's 16, 20 people, that can be some life-changing things. So it's the quality of the study that I was impressed with. In my realm, I'm an MD, but I don't use pharmaceuticals. I help people get off when they can using vitamins, minerals, and herbs. And I have seen companies in the past do their own studies, which is not what we have here. These are independent studies. But when a company does their own studies, they might do 10 studies on their product, and nine of them might not be beneficial, but one seems to be a little bit beneficial. You see that one, you don't see the other nine. That's not good science. And that does happen out there in the industry, especially in the natural alternative industry where there aren't where there isn't lots of money for the research. But these are not. These are valid studies. As I said, double blind, placebo controlled, independent, and then some of them peer reviewed. So size it does matter in the sense that when we do bigger studies, it's more validity there, but it doesn't mean a small study isn't valid. We've learned some tremendous things that are then verified by the numbers of people using the patches, and that you can't refute. There are millions of people worldwide that have a story. They had something, they started patching, and here's what happened. And of course, we don't uh, say the patches even did it. We say the patches support all the organ systems in the body and their ability to get and stay healthy.